Toward the end of my working life, which I hope hasn't ended for sure, but I realized it was harder and harder to cast someone of my age. And people were talking about, you have to invent your own career. Actors were writing their memoirs, doing their confessions. I call them confessions. Their one character presentations of things from their own life, which were usually about their terrible parents. And I had, at the time, come across some writings about Emma Goldman. Now you may say, who is Emma Goldman? Most people do. Unless you're an old-timer or a socialist, you don't know who Emma Goldman was because she's been written out of history. At one time, Emma Goldman was called by Edgar J. Hoover the most dangerous woman in America. This was in 1919. That's how long a career J. Edgar Hoover had. I read about her little comments that she was really a party girl. She loved to drink, she loved to dance, she loved men, and men loved her. She had lovers beyond her middle years. She was not a pretty woman, she was not even good looking, but there was something about her that was charismatic. And I thought, I would like to know more about this woman. Having heard that she was dangerous, an anarchist, a socialist, a labor organizer, and also she was deported from this country for her goings-on, and yet she was a party girl, and men loved her all these years. I had to know more. So I read her autobiography called My Life. Well, it was some life. She was all those things and more. The woman was so vibrant, was so well read, was so smart, and had such vision for the future. And that's what made her a danger. A danger to whom? To big business and to government. The more I read, the more I thought, oh, how I would love to do a character like Emma Goldman. And then I thought, who's going to cast me? The show hasn't been written yet. Well, I decided to write it and star myself in a one-woman show. And I did. Well, it was a laughable experience for lack of experience. I had so much trouble trying to put it on the computer, being handicapped technologically. I lost what I'd written so many times because I didn't know where it went in the documents. I think if I had written it out in longhand and given it to somebody to type, I would have completed it in 2 months. As it was, it took me 9 months. But I had the script, and I had to find somebody who would produce it. Well, after several tries, I did find a producer, and we had our first engagement at 773, which is the sister theater to WIT on Belmont. We did 3 weeks there, very well attended. I got very good reviews. Some were glorious. People were excited to know about this woman because nobody ever heard of her. Big business and government were so eager to get rid of her, they deported her at the peak of her career. She spent most of her time not being an anarchist. She spent most of her time organizing labor because she believed in unions so ardently. I was so sorry to learn things about America that I had not known and that they don't teach you in school. I learned that men who are on strike from the mines, from shops, were fired upon by the militia and by the National Guard for striking. I did the best I could, tried to keep it to an hour. I couldn't keep it to an hour. It ended up being an hour and a half after making many cuts, which hurt me deeply because they were all interesting anecdotes and stories about Emma. After that run, we were invited to do it at the Skokie Theater, which had been a theater, a movie theater in the old days, and was now converted into a lovely, modern, legit theater. And we had a very successful run there for another 3 weeks.